Hey guys, how's it going? I don't know about you, but I am fed up with the weather. I'm fed up with the dark nights, the dark mornings. I just don't really like January very much in some ways. And I don't know about you, I've heard this term coined saying called a Blue Monday. And it's this term that's used to describe the most depressing day of the year. And you might be wondering what that date is right now, and in fact, it is tomorrow. Now, before you start using that as an excuse to not want to get out of bed and that everything is rubbish, it has just been referred to as just another day. But I do find it interesting that someone's considered this the most depressing day of the year. And I mention it because right now, you might be finding things really difficult. I might describe how you're feeling today or tomorrow. But I want to encourage you. And I want to encourage you by telling you of a different phrase that I've been thinking about this week. And it's this: shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. Now, when I think of this phrase, I often think of a scene in the original Toy Story. And if you've not seen the original Toy Story, stop what you're doing, go and watch it, and then come back, and you'll understand this all the more. Now, in this scene with Buzz, he is describing how he is not just a toy, but he's a space ranger, and a real space ranger at that, and he can really fly. And Woody's like, "You can't do this." And he says, "I can't." So he then decides that he's going to show everybody that he can fly. And Woody goes, "Okay, fly." And he jumps off the edge of the bed. He does these kind of like somersaults on a car. He hits one of the toys, and then he starts then swirling around the room, and then he lands back on the bed, and he's convinced he flew across the room. Now, I find it really funny, and Woody's then going, "You didn't actually do it." And it reminds me of the quote this way, because the quote means that even if you try to achieve something incredible, and you might not hit your original goal, you'll still have achieved, and you'll still be further along than you were to begin with. And that's what happened with Buzz. He might not have actually flew, but he did achieve some falling in spectacular style, as Woody might say. And this year, you may have set yourself some goals. You may have set a goal to get healthier, fitter, do better in school. It could have been to join a team or a club. It could have been anything. It might even have been reading your Bible or spending less time on social media, or say even to buy that class pair of trainers that you've seen recently. And I want to challenge you with this, that our personal idea of success, and as I challenge you with this, I want us to then go back to thinking about something we spoke about recently, which was this story about Peter in his boat. Now, if you remember, Peter and the disciples had just left in their boat while Jesus was praying. And during that night, the winds got crazy. And the disciples got really scared as they saw a figure in the distance. And as the figure called out and said it was Jesus, Peter said, "If it's really you, tell me to come." And Peter then steps out of the boat. And we're going to pick up this story here. And it's in Matthew 14, verses 28. And it says, "And Peter answered him and said, 'Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water.' So he said, 'Come.' And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, 'Lord, save me.' And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, 'O you of little faith, why did you doubt?' And when they got to the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, 'You truly are the Son of God.'" Now, in this story, I want to ask you this question: what do you focus on? Do you focus on the fact that Peter walked on the water, or do you focus on the fact that he began to sink? In your eyes, would you consider Peter successful, or would you see him as a failure? See, this is a tension we find ourselves in quite a lot. You see, we begin to start off, we start to do well at something, whether it's that first January of the year where you went out for a run, or you started eating better, or maybe you've actually read your Bible the first couple of days of the year, and then it starts to trail off. And it starts to become more difficult to do it. You see, Peter did walk on the water, but he didn't quite make it to Jesus, and Jesus needed to be there to save him. And often we can have these moments in our lives too where we forget that when on a journey, we forget that it doesn't actually matter about what happens in a specific moment, but it happens over a lifetime. This is a part of Peter's journey, and if we take it out of the context of his whole life, we can miss out on whether we think he's a success or a failure. You see, his life was marked with ups and downs. In some moments he was on top of the world as he started the church, as he was there to be the person who Jesus said, on this rock I will build my church. And then other moments he gets it drastically wrong. He denies Jesus. He cuts someone's ear off. He's always so rash to make these decisions. But what I want to say to you is, do we consider him a success or a failure? Because if we look over the whole of his life, we would deem Peter a success. Even in this moment, we can say he walked on water, he was successful in that. But really, it's about the journey. It's about the journey that we're on. You see, our goal isn't just to achieve, our goal is to grow. And this is a lesson that I've had to learn too. I remember in 2016, I was wanting to challenge myself to really start to enjoy reading. So I set myself this challenge of reading 12 books across the year, one a month. And I got to the end of 2016 and I'd read 11 books. I thought that was good going. So next year I thought I'm going to try and up it and challenge myself a little bit more, even though I didn't quite make the goal. I set myself a goal of 20 books and I read 18. So still didn't make it, but that didn't change my thoughts. I was like, okay, the following year we're going to do better. I set 24 books. I did 20. Okay, so I was like, okay, I'll just add another one. 25 books. We'll aim 25 books. I read 24. I'd failed on every single goal for that 4 years on how many books to read. And last year, I set the goal of reading 30 books. And last year I actually smashed that goal, and part of that was to do with lockdown, and part of it is to do with the fact that we're on a journey. My journey that I wanted to start, my goal was actually I wanted to enjoy reading. And even though I didn't hit the targets for each year, I started to enjoy reading. So last year, when I had more time, it made that goal much more achievable and much, much easier. You see, our success is not found in the achievement, but it's found in the journey. And this can be the same with our relationship with Jesus too. I think it's summed up really well in a part of Galatians, and it's in Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23. And it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. And against such there is no law. I think we can live a life just like this, and we can start showing these different things. You see, we're not going to do everything perfect all of the time because we're on a journey. Our goal is to grow. So in our relationship with God, as we take it as a journey, as it's our aim to grow, we can look at these things and we can go, do you know what? This week, I'm gonna try and be more patient with my brother or sister who's doing my head in. Do you know what? I'm gonna try and be kind to my parents who are just trying to encourage me to do the best. And we can improve slowly. And it's not about setting a grand achievement to do everything, but it's taking each step as it comes. For others, people's next step might be a little bit like Peter, and it's accepting that offer of following Jesus again. That we can go out and we can walk on the water with him, that we can put our trust in him. And during this time, it's been really difficult, but maybe we just need to choose to trust, and we can believe in doing the incredible things just like Peter. And for others of you, it might be talking to someone around you about some of the goals that you've set. It might be talking about how do we continue on this journey and this relationship with God. Maybe it's chatting with a friend or a family member about what that looks like for you. And whatever it is, I want to encourage you to take those next steps over the next few days. And as we see things begin to happen, we know that it's not there that we belong, but it's a journey towards our true goal. It's a journey to grow.